I think if you had said, okay, year one you're going to go 5-7, year two you're going to go 9-4, year three you're going to go 9-4, and year four you're going to play for a national championship, I think everybody would go, well, that's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? And I think for us, the fact that we did that in year one, makes it hard. Where do you go from there? And I think it creates expectations that you want. I mean, look, I want to win every game, and I want us to field a team that believes we can win every game. And I do believe for the last 2 years we've fielded that kind of team. Now, we've made too many mistakes, coaching errors and all kinds of other things to do it. But look, this is a good football program, on the verge of being a great program. We all want it to be great. We all want to be in the playoff. But anybody that says bowls don't matter didn't watch this game tonight. Because bowls matter. This is important for this university, and most importantly, these young men. And it matters, and they treated it that way, and that's why they came out on the winning edge. But look, I want to be in the playoff every year. I know our players want to be in the playoff every year. I know our fans want to be, and we're going to work our tails off to get there.
An Alamo City Classic, and the Horned Frogs continue their undefeated streak in their third Alamo Bowl appearance. And how fitting. Another overtime victory against the 16th-ranked USC Trojans, 30-27. Leading 7-3 and 14-10, the Frogs held on to a slim 1-point lead at halftime, 14-13 on a John Denman 5-yard rushing touchdown, and quarterback Ken Seals on a 4th and goal keeps the ball for a 1-yard touchdown keeper. Who would have thought 2 weeks ago Josh Hoover entered the portal and Seals took the lead? The third quarter was all Trojans, as our Frogs had the ball to start the second half and gave it right back on a USC interception on our first possession. It didn't lead to points. A sloppy third quarter, but credit Channing Canada on his interception in the end zone, keeping the Frogs in the lead by 1 as the third wind down. Pressure is getting underway now. Sonny Dykes, Ken Seals, Bud Clark, Caleb Elarms-Orr, and Jeremy Payne.
First of all, I just want to tell these guys thank you. It's been, I told them this, I think today before we left the hotel. I mean, it's really been the honor and privilege of my life to get to coach these guys. This is my 4th year at TCU, and there's been some guys that have been here from the very beginning, and those guys are just incredibly special. They hung around when there was a coaching change, and in year number 1 it goes so good, and year number 2 doesn't go so great, and there's just been some ups and downs, and those guys have never wavered. They're just the character, who they are. Just all of it is just, I couldn't be more proud. And the guys sitting up here, I mean, Bud and Caleb and Jeremy and Ken, I mean, they're just such good people, and I'm so blessed to get to go to work every day and be around these guys. They truly mean the world to me. So proud of what they did tonight. It took a special effort to find a way. That's kind of what we talked about last night after Bram Colehausen came and talked to us a little bit. That was kind of his message, is you got to find a way, and these guys found a way today. And it wasn't always pretty. Third quarter was about as ugly as offensive football as I've been a part of. But we found a way. Defense kept hanging in there, and they kept playing hard, and got the stops that we needed to give us a chance to win. And and then guys made plays down the stretch. I mean, Ken did a great job checking the ball down there on third down, and we were trying to get in field goal range and probably anticipating kicking a 45, 50-yard field goal, and Jeremy just took it over and made a play. So just, like I said, man, so proud of these guys. Great win for TCU, and I think something that we'll always remember.
It felt like a movie. It was just, you reach a certain point where, I was a little rusty to start, not going to lie. I kind of forgot how to run a football. I think I got hit standing up straight and just dropped the football and to start the second half. So, but I just can't even, I'm not processing it. This has just been an unbelievable experience the week leading up to it, the last 10 days, and then finish it in this fashion is just, more than any guy could dream.
No, it was a really good win. Defensively, I feel like, we had our moments, but at the end of the day, we got some crucial stops, held them to some field goals, some third down, fourth down stops. And shoot, I'm from California too, so just kind of being overlooked by all the big schools, and playing one of the bigger programs historically, and to find a way to get on top is definitely an amazing feeling for sure.
I feel like we prepared for it. Like, we prepared all week. We prepared for the whole month. So and it's been a big thing for us, just be excited. So I feel like we did a great job at doing that, especially on defense and offense, because we believed in Ken and Ken believed in us, and I feel like that's what took us this far.
Catching the ball, I always taught to beat one player, just be one player. And once I beat that one player, I'm thinking, let's get the first down. And then I broke another tackle, and I'm like, oh, I could make it. So I just amazing feeling, just all glory to God.
That was the deal defensively, was 3 times holding them to field goals, and that's obviously a difference in the game. And then when we got down there in the red zone, we scored touchdowns. Thought we had the catch with man jack, which would have made it a little bit easier, but wouldn't have been as fun for Jeremy to be able to finish the way he did. So I'm glad it worked out the way it did.
Emotional win in so many ways, as the Frogs had to come back again after seeing their 1-point third-quarter lead disappear with a Trojan 21-yard reception in the last minute of the quarter. 2-point conversion is good. Frogs down 21-14 to start the fourth and down 10 with 9 minutes to play. Our boys in purple are no strangers to being down here in the Alamo Dome. And just like that, with 4.5 left to play, Jeremy Payne runs it in from the 5. Frogs down 24-21. Defense held strong, as they have all year, and got the ball back into the hands of Seals to lead the charge down the field into field goal range, and we are now even at 24 on a Kyle Lieberman field goal. Overtime we go. Trojans were first and goal from the 1, and the Frogs stood strong, holding them to a field goal. Frogs found themselves at 3rd and 20, and the magic happened. Seals to Payne, 35 yards to the score. Game over. Your TCU Horned Frogs are 3-0 in Alamo Bowl games. In a full circle moment, Fort Worth native QB1 Ken Seals earned offensive MVP, going 29 for 40 for 258 yards and 1 touchdown, and a rushing one of his own. Linebacker Caleb Elarms-Orr earned defensive MVP, providing a strong defensive presence with 11 tackles. Here is more sound from the boys after the game.
My mentality was just, sell out. It's your last one, man. Like, if you can pull the ball on the goal line and go score, go do it. In some ways, I think I needed a refresher on how to run the football. It's been a while since I got hit, and it was kind of, took me a second to, I guess, shake the rust off a little bit. But once I felt like I settled in and kind of got back to my game and knew how to play and stuff, I felt really confident what I can do, and made the plays when there were plays to be made.
We started slow. Ken talked about it. I mean, we didn't convert 2 third and shorts in the first half, and that hurt us and kind of slowed us down. But once we got into a rhythm, we really started moving the ball and scored the 2 back-to-back touchdowns on those drives, and really had a ton of momentum going into halftime. Came out in the third quarter. I expected us to kind of pick up where we left off, and we just struggled. And to Mitch's credit, we're down 10. And if you're a young play caller, and I had to learn this when I began calling plays 20 years ago, you've got to treat the game as if it's a 0-0 game. You got to call it that way, because you start dropping back and taking shots, and things can snowball, and especially against a talented defensive front like that. And he did a great job. I mean, he kept his composure. He didn't panic. There was tremendous communication among all the coaches, and I thought everybody did a good job of being patient. We talked to the players, say, look, it's just a one play at a time thing, and we'll get back in this game. And again, you can say that, but those guys have to believe it. And the only way that they can believe it is they have to believe in themselves and their preparation and all the things that they've done to put themselves in that position. And we had 13 bowl practices, I believe, and never one time did anybody dog it. And, when we had some adversity, your starting quarterback says he's not going to play in a game, that's adversity. And everybody stepped right up. Everybody said, okay, we got their guy in the building that can do this and can, and you have to believe it. And the only way that you can go out and do what he did today is you have to prepare yourself every single day for 2 years. And you have to be incredibly unselfish in order to do that. And he did it. And he got to live a dream tonight. He'll remember it the rest of his life. I'll remember it the rest of mine. And, man, it's just fun to be a part of it.
I mean, Jeremy's an extremely hard worker. He'd be shaking me at practice sometimes too. And I mean, I'm not surprised that he, just went out there and made a bunch of dudes miss. And I mean, he was doing it all night. So once he made that first dude miss, I knew he was gone. So a hell of a player, and I mean, I'm proud of him. And I mean, I see it every day, so I definitely wasn't surprised.
I feel like I knew he was going to do it because, like, even at practice he does it, so it's something that you practice every day. It's not just a, pop up and let's do it, but the flip switch, the switch flipped, and then that's what it was. And I believed in him, and so did our team, and he did what he was called to do.
I believe the Big 12 is the most competitive conference in football. I really do believe that. From top to bottom, anybody can win any given Saturday, and it makes it a very difficult conference to win. It was hard for us when we went 12-0 first year. There were only 9 teams in the league, or 10 teams in the league at that time. We played everybody, and so you kind of had a real champion. Now with the addition of the teams, the league's gotten stronger because, like I said, man, game in and game out, there's no league tougher from top to bottom. Now, maybe not as many teams at the top as there is in the SEC or maybe the Big Ten, but the bottom teams in the Big 12 are crazy competitive. And so anyway, it's a hell of a league, and hard to win it.
When I first came to TCU, I didn't know a thing about it, so it was hard for me. I got in, played under Coach P. He was great to us, or whatever, but I didn't know what I was going to do because I ended up getting a concussion, and then Dykes came in. I didn't know if they wanted me or not. I was about to transfer, honestly, and I had a good player playing in front of me, so I talked to our DC at the time, and they told me that they wanted me, and I knew then that I would do everything that I could for TCU, anything that I could by any chance, anytime, any place, anywhere, I'll do it. And I'd like to say thanks to Coach Dykes and all the staff that took us in, or took me in for sure. And it's crazy, it's coming to an end. I'm started when I was 19, 20. I'm 23 now. Well, 19, 20, 18, 17, 18. I'm 23 now, and so I've grown, I've matured, and I feel like being here helped me. It helped me grow my grit, grow my tenacity, everything that I needed in order to become the man that I am today.
Your TCU Horned Frogs are the 2025 Alamo Bowl champions, leaving their mark on San Antonio, finishing the season 9-4 and another ranked win on their 2025 resume. That's all I have for you tonight from the Alamo Dome. Thank you for joining us, and special thank you to our partners at Texit for making this week possible. We will see you back in the fort. And if you missed any of it, here it is, pure cinema. Good night from the Alamo Bowl.
Big as the Super Bowl, but the difference is it's just two guys playing that they did in the studio. Usually send their verses back to me and they be terrible, just like a 2-year-old. I love a dinner with some fine women when they start debating about who the GOAT. I'm like, go ahead, say it then. Who the GOAT? Who the GOAT? Who the GOAT? Who the GOAT? Who you really rooting for? Like a kid that had bad from January to November. It's just too cold. Is the Super Bowl, but the difference is it's just two guys playing that they did in the studio. Usually send their verses back to me and they be terrible, just like a 2-year-old. I love a dinner with some fine women when they start debating about who the GOAT. I'm like, go ahead, say it then. Who the GOAT? Who the GOAT? Who the GOAT? Who the GOAT? Who you really rooting for? Like a kid that had bad from January to November. It's just too cold. Big as the Super Bowl, but the difference is it's just two guys playing that they did in the studio. Usually send their verses back to me and they be terrible, just like a 2-year-old. I love a dinner with some fine women when they start debating about who the GOAT. I'm like, go ahead, say it then. Who the GOAT? Who the GOAT? Who the GOAT? Who the GOAT? Who you really rooting for? Like a kid that had bad from
Jaden Walker.
And y'all see what happens when they try to, you feel me? Hey, go Frogs, man. That's all it is, man. Go Frogs.
Cool whatever, bro. That's the way you go out. Gonna ask for a better way. Go out, man.
Hey, get the frog. Get the frog. Get the frog. Hey, Mac.
Great job, man. Proud of you.
Yeah.